Okay, y'all. This is crazy. Joe Biden about to get out the daggone custom Maybach.
Your president.
Hello, Mr. President. Hello, Mr. President.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
What's your name?
Marcina.
Marcina.
Yes, I want to wish you God's blessings in all of your decisions. I know you got a lot on your shoulders. I'll pray for you.
Well, thank you. Please do.
Yes.
Big prayer.
Oh, look at him taking a selfie. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. I love you more. I love you more. Can I get her? We here.
How are you? I'm happy.
What's up, y'all? Gerald here, creator of Gospel Chops and your host for this YouTube channel, back with another video. Now, what you just saw there was a montage of the racist, segregationist president of the United States, Joe Biden, in what appears to be lame outreach to the Black community, accompanied by Los Angeles mayor and lifelong grifter of the American electorate, Karen Bass, mayor of Los Angeles, who has made it a career all of her life to grift off the public taxpayer, finds herself at 70 years old in Los Angeles, betraying the Black community in Los Angeles and allowing illegal aliens to take over that once great city. So as Joe Biden comes to California to raise funds for his campaign for 2024, Karen Bass invites him to a little soul food spot to do some outreach to the community, because you know that's where we get down, right? Somebody thought this would be a good idea for Joe Biden to walk into this little food spot to connect with Black folks and hug the same folks he condemned just a few decades ago with his homeboy, Robert Byrd, Strom Thurmond. You know, cats that Joe Biden used to frolic around with in American politics, create crime bills and such that would impact a certain segment of the community in a certain way. Yes, that same Joe Biden who finessed America, who finessed the Black electorate into voting for him in 2020. Here we are in 2024 with Joe Biden coming back around for seconds. And here we are with Black political operatives who can't wait to usher him into Black spaces, to try to pull the wool over the eyes of the Black voter. This is shameful, y'all, but it's going on a national level. Not only do we have the president who is trying to fool the Black electorate, but we have the governors like Gavin Newsom who are trying to pull the wool over the eyes of the Black electorate. Not only do we have governors, but we have the mayors like Karen Bass. Not only Karen Bass, but we can frolic over to Chicago, where we have another mayor who's facing the heat like Karen Bass should get it, because the electorate is waking up. And I'm sorry to tell y'all, but a lot of folks y'all thought was down with the Democrat Party, their eyes are now open and they're seeing that these Democrat mayors are throwing them under the bus in exchange for these illegal aliens that they're throwing money at and throwing benefits at, benefits that these voters couldn't get for years. Now they're just giving them up. They don't know who these voters are. They come in and they say a name. You don't know if that's their name. They say a country. You don't know if that's their country. You have no information on these people, but yet you let them in. And we see that American citizens are being murdered, being robbed, being stabbed, being assaulted in cities across this country by folks who don't even belong here. Let's look at what the electorate is saying about Brandon Johnson, who sold his city out the same way Karen Bass has.
A Chicago City Council meeting was raw and real. Residents tore into city leaders over the 35,000 illegal immigrants who have poured into Chicago, and the city is on a spending spree for those people who broke our laws to get here. Critics are accusing the city of prioritizing border crossers over minority communities in particular.
Get them out of our communities because they don't deserve to be there.
Downtown has 3 to 4 illegal families on every block begging for work and selling Kit Kat bars after $1 billion was spent on them. Where is that money? Where is the money for the South Side and the West Side communities? Not another dollar for the illegals. If the crisis is so bad, the city council members who are so concerned should donate their salaries to the cause like a real public servant should.
That's from a recent, yesterday it was breaking live during this hour. That's from that city council meeting. And we couldn't see everybody, but we played it for you anyway. Now we have so much more of it to play. Illinois has spent more than $1 billion of Chicago tax money already on the people who are there. So the Illinois governor thinks he has the answer to it all. He's blaming Texas.
Abbott willfully planned the arrival of these individuals in locations and at times that would engender the maximum chaos for the city of Chicago. Think about that the next time a politician from Texas wants to lecture you about being a good Christian. They shouldn't leave it to the governor of Texas, who has no goal but to sow chaos and destruction.
Kata Truss has lived in Chicago her entire life. Kata, how bad is it?
It's really bad. And the sentiment of most of Chicago is that of the young lady, one of the young ladies that you heard, Jessica. The sentiment of Chicagoans is the same. And I just listened to the soundbite with Governor Pritzker, who wants to blame Governor Abbott. But I think that we have to be realistic in thinking about what the state of Texas was going through before they began busing migrants here. And I don't think we really think about that. So we're looking at it now as Chicagoans receiving migrants from the state of Texas. But imagine what it must be like in that state of Texas on a daily basis where people are arriving. Our president, President Biden, has not done enough. He has not done enough to secure the borders. He has not done enough to go in and propose some legislation that he can push forth himself to change this situation. And I'm telling you, we're so angry here in Chicago, which has been a Democratic stronghold for most of its eternity. This year, we're working to turn Chicago red. We are so angry with Pritzker and with President Biden and with our mayor that we have decided that we're going to vote Republican this time around. Wow. That's just how angry we are. We are so angry that we are willing and going to turn our backs on the Democratic Party. I sat in some of those city council meetings and I looked at and I watched the aldermen totally disregard the voices of the people. And when I was going down there, we were coming down every week in the hundreds. And what we said did not matter. And when we were talking about changing Chicago's status as a sanctuary city, and keep in mind, we still have a right to do that. Just like Biden has the right to put forth an executive order to change the crisis at the border, Chicago's mayor has the right to put forth an executive order to change Chicago's sanctuary city.
Will he do it?
Of course he will not do it. If he was going to do it, it would have been done. And remember, there was a vote within City Council where the ordinance to change it was strucken down. And the mayor was the deciding vote.
Okay, so I want to play just a little bit. It's actually a clip from your Democratic mayor, Brandon Johnson, just after that City Council meeting yesterday that got pretty chippy. And at the end of the day, he is the one you are counting on in all of this, as you just said. It's his vote. It's his, in those meetings, it's his voice. It's his leadership that matters. Let's watch.
We're grateful that the state and the county is working towards providing more investments, even though we have to have a more substantive conversation about where those dollars will actually go.
So I just have one question. Chicago had a choice after Lori Lightfoot, who was breaking COVID protocols to go get her hair done and all sorts of things. They didn't have to go farther left with Brandon Johnson. Why did you vote for him?
I voted for Brandon Johnson because I knew him. I voted for Brandon Johnson because I thought that he would be good for Chicago. I voted for Brandon Johnson because really I didn't do my homework. Because had I done my homework and paid attention to the alliances and who he was with and who groomed him, I would have known better and I would have voted differently. And that brings me to the challenge of really standing up and not just saying to Chicagoans or Illinoisans, but to all voters in this country, it is time for us to stand up and to vote our self-interest. We vote along party lines, especially as African Americans, and that needs to change. We need to start voting for people who are going to promote our self-interest. And that may not be a Democrat, and it may not be a Republican. It may be an independent candidate. It may be a Green Party candidate. But I think that now we have come to a point in this country where we have to stop marrying ourselves to party, stop voting along ethnic lines, because we're seeing that that is not working for us. And so that is why I will be voting Republican for the first time.
Wow, that is a lot. That's a lot of change. And it only took 3 years with one president to undo what you said, a lifetime of Democratic voting in Chicago, at least for you. Does it make a difference if Republicans come to see you this election cycle and talk about this issue on the ground in Chicago?
I think the Republicans need to come and see us. I think they need to come and talk to us because let me just say this, that the Republican Party has not been spotless. And there are certainly some issues that we would love to discuss with them that I think that we can have some common ground on. Okay. I think that we can agree to be disagreeable on some issues. But yes, this is the perfect time for the Republican Party to come into the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, and sit down and talk to the people because we are looking for change.
Cata Trust, God bless you. Thank you so much. You put a lot on a lot of people's minds today. And I wish you well in Chicago. I know you're dealing with a lot of citizens there. Thank you.
Thank you.
And there you have it, folks. Black voters are fed up. They're saying if you're a Republican and you got something to offer, we're willing to listen. Finally, folks are waking up. They're understanding that under Donald Trump, things were better. We made more money and spent less money on goods, which gave us more disposable income. Black folks, household income was up. Home ownership was up. Unemployment was down. It was a better situation for Black voters by every economic metric. And I think that Black folks are hoping for that day to come back. In order for that day to come back, you got to bring back the man who brought you that day, which is not the senile, dementia-ridden Joe Biden. Y'all, this man is so old. He's so out of it. He's so out of touch with America. I don't even know if Joe Biden remembers that he's a racist. Fortunately for us, we got records, bro. We got the crime bill. We got the speeches that you gave in the Senate. We got the record of how you challenged Justice Thomas and his ascension to the Supreme Court. We got the records, bro. We know who you are. And we will never forget in the way that your senility is pushing you to forget. Y'all, what do you think about this topic? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what you think on this. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video so we can get more people involved in the conversation, y'all. And like I always say, always remember and never forget, without the gospel, it's just chops. Until next time, peace.